What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video on Batman: The Killing Joke. Now guys, if you've been following along so far, what we've seen is this is like the final battle between Batman and the Joker. Now the first part, we pretty much saw Joker going to the limit. Like, Batman shows up to Arkham Asylum, he figures out that the Joker he's talking to is actually an imposter, and Batman's whole point in the story is he's trying to rehabilitate Joker. He's trying to he notices that they're on like a suicide course, that one day one of them will die. He wants to save the Joker and end this all. But he goes after the Joker, can't find him. Joker pretty much kills the salesman, takes over this carnival, then shoots Barbara Gordon, pretty much paralyzing her and taking Commissioner Gordon. And he's trying to drive Commissioner Gordon insane because Commissioner Gordon is one of the most strong and brave men in Gotham. And Joker's trying to prove a point that if he can drive him insane, then all it takes is one bad day for anybody to go insane. That's what happened to him in his origin story. Pretty much, he had a wife, unborn child, one of the mobsters tried to get money. His wife and unborn child died in an accident. Then he went on like this crime, got caught by the Batman, fell into these chemicals, and then became the Joker. All it took was one bad day for him to just drop into insanity. Now, what we see now is pretty much Batman tracked all these different cars, made to the carnival, and Batman's face to face with the Joker in their final battle ever. If you like this video, give a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the great DC Comics content that I release on a daily basis. I cover Batman stories like Batman Nightfall, Batman Court of Owls, Batman: The Killing Joke, Dark Knight's Mail. I go over Death Mail, everything DC Comics, everything DC. And you guys will love it, alright? But yeah, guys, enough of this intro. Let's get to the conclusion of Batman: The Killing Joke. Now, what we see here is we see Batman get out of his Batmobile. We see the Joker with pretty much sticks just waiting. We see Commissioner Gordon in a cage. Joker's smiling at him. Batman goes over and he jumps onto the Joker, tackling him to the ground. Now, Joker then pretty much tries to burn Batman's arm with his acid. And Batman steps back, Joker's there, and Joker runs into the carnival. Batman chases him, looks back at Commissioner Gordon. And guys, during this fight scene, we pretty much have Batman repeat the same words that he did at the beginning of the story. He's like, I've been thinking, well, he says at the start, he's like, hello, I came to talk. I've been thinking lately about you, about me, about what's going to happen to us in the end. Perhaps you'll kill me, perhaps I'll kill you. Perhaps sooner, perhaps later. And pretty much Batman's trying to rehabilitate Joker and save him, but they're in the suicide course and it's coming to its end. Now, Batman, before he's chasing the Joker, goes to Commissioner Gordon. He's like, Jim, are you okay? He thinks he's gone insane. And Commissioner Gordon's like, oh God. He's like, it's okay. And Batman's like, it's okay. You're fine. You're with me. And Commissioner Gordon's like, he showed shots of Barbara. Pretty much, Commissioner Gordon saw shots of Barbara pretty much naked, being tortured. And he's like, Joker tried to drive me mad, but he can't. And Batman's like, I'll stay here with you until they arrive, the cops. And Commissioner Gordon's like, no, go take him in. He's like, bring him in. And Batman starts to go, but Commissioner Gordon's like, I want you to bring him in by the book. Don't kill him. Bring him in. We'll arrest him, and we'll do it the way that we always do. Because if we kill him, we'll pretty much prove his point that all it takes is one bad day, and you can drive anybody insane. But if we bring him in by the book, then we're going against this point. And Batman's like, I'll do my best. He's like, no promises. And he goes in, and he goes into this carnival, and you see an awesome image right here. Look at that. Right, there you go. Look at that. At the bottom, looks pretty dope. You see Batman, he's all in the shadows. He's starting to chase the Joker. Now, as Batman's going through this carnival and pretty much trying to find the Joker says, hey, you got my free ticket, you got my invitation to this place. He's like, I proved that all it takes is one bad day. I drove Commissioner Gordon insane, and you can't go against that point. It's true. And he starts to say, he's like, you had a bad day once, right? It's like something happened to you that caused you to become Batman. He's like, I don't know what it is. And he doesn't say Batman, he says, what caused you to become a flying rat? And he's like, what caused this? And he's like, you always try to make a point for all this struggling. Pretty much what Joker's saying is, Batman, there's no point in struggling. You should just become insane. And the world's mad. He's like, but you are pretty much dumb in thinking that, oh, you could go to the lengths, go to the limit to pretty much stop this struggling. And Joker's like, there's no point in doing that. And then he says, what caused you? What was your one bad day that caused you to become Batman? He's like, girlfriend killed by the mob, maybe brother carved up by the mugger. He's like thinking of all these things, but he doesn't figure out that actually this is Bruce Wayne and his mother Martha and father Thomas were killed in the alley. Like, if Joker was a little more smart, like, he's very smart, like Joker's very smart and like unpredictable and everything, but he couldn't figure out the biggest case in Gotham, the one with the Wayne murders, is actually the one that pretty much made Batman. Now, as he's saying this, he's like, I had one bad day. Joker's pretty much saying, I had one bad day that caused me to go insane, but I can't really remember it all. He can't even remember his own origin. He's like, I like to think of it as multiple choice, which that's a big thing that a lot of people associate Joker with, that his origin is multiple choice. Like, he has so many different origin stories that you can choose from, and it's actually one of the most famous things that people know about him. As we continue, he's like, you're not stupid, Batman. You know the reality. You know the things that I do. You just won't accept it. He's like, do you know how many times we almost went to World War III over some like dumb argument, or World War I? He's describing all these different events and histories that have been caused by like stupid arguments or certain like jokes. It's like, it's all a joke, and everything that anybody pretty much valued or pretty much went to great limits to achieve, it was just a big like monstrous gag. He's like, so why can't you see the funny side of Batman? He's like, why aren't you laughing? And that's when Batman breaks through the glass. It's an awesome image, and the Joker's like freaked out, and Batman's like, because I've heard it before. And he's like, it wasn't funny the first time. He grabs Joker, throws him through the window, Joker falls through, and Batman's like, incidentally, I spoke to Commissioner Gordon. He's not crazy. Your whole thing didn't work. People who are actually normal, they don't go crazy like you do. You're just not normal. People who actually have a stable life, who are sane, you can push them to any limit and they won't go insane. And you see Batman go up to Joker as he's saying this, and Joker actually pulls out like a needle. It's a poison needle, the same needle that he tapped the one salesman on the back and killed him, but Batman pretty much kicks it out of the way, and then that thing falls to the floor, and Joker then is like, no, that's not true. He pulls like the cowl over Batman's head, that Batman, he can't see, he's trying to pull it up, and Joker's just laughing, then hits him with like wood right across the head, and Batman's actually, he's looking like he's going through like some torture, and Batman's on the ground. Joker comes by and pulls out a knife, goes to stab him, then Batman comes up, looks at his hand, and then turns around, catches Joker, pretty much his wrist, stops him from like stabbing him. Then Batman punches him in the stomach, then gets his fist back, punches him in the face. Joker goes flying out the window. And guys, notice these like this page. It's a very important page. We'll come back to it after I explain this issue. But we continue. Batman goes to walk toward Joker. Joker's on the ground. He turns around and points a gun right at Batman. Now, Joker aims that gun, Batman's all freaked out, is he gonna shoot me? Then Joker shoots, but it's not actually a bullet. All it says is click, click. It's pretty much just a fake gun. And Joker's like, damn it, it's empty. He's like, alright, what are you waiting for? Kill me. He's like, I shot a defenseless girl, I terrorized the old man. He's like, well, why won't you like just kill me? Like, this is the only time you could do this. I've done some terrible things. And Batman's like, because I'm gonna bring you in by the book. I'm just gonna arrest you. I'm not like you, I'm not insane. And he's like, do you understand? I don't want to hurt you. I want to rehabilitate you. I want to bring you back from insanity. He's like, maybe tonight is the night that I can actually bring it back. He's like, we're on a suicide course. He pretty much says the same thing that he said at the beginning of the storyline. And he's like, if we keep doing this, we'll come to a bloody end where one of us will die. And Batman's like, we keep doing this, one of us will die, like maybe me, maybe it'll be you, but we can change this. He's like, Batman's like, I've been there before, where you feel like going insane, but you just bring it back. I can help you. And Joker just refuses. He's like, no, there's no point. He's like, I'm sorry, it's too late. You know, he's like, it's funny. There's actually a joke that actually reminds me of, well, this situation reminds me of a joke. And Batman looks, he's kind of like, what? So he's like, okay, explain. And Joker starts like saying this joke. He's like, see, there were these two guys in a lunatic asylum. He's like, and one night, they decide they don't like living in an asylum anymore. And he's like, they decide they're going to escape. And he's like, so, like, they get up onto the roof, and they're just across the narrow gap. they see the rooftops of the town. And he's like stretching away into the moonlight. It's pretty much their freedom. And he's like stretching away to freedom. And he's like, now the first guy jumps right across, easy. And with no problem. But his friend, he can't make the leap. He's too scared. And what happens, he's like afraid of falling. But the first guy has an idea. He says, hey, I have my flashlight with me. I'll shine it across the gaps between like the buildings. You can walk right across, and you could join me. And the second guy, shakes his head. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, what do you think I am, crazy? And he's like, you turn it off when I'm halfway through. And Joker looks at Batman after ending this joke, and he just starts laughing. He's kind of like tearing up too. And he starts laughing. He's like, oh, excuse me. And he starts laughing uncontrollably, and Batman starts laughing too. And they all start laughing. Batman then takes a hold of Joker, grabs him, and you see this famous image of them all just laughing uncontrollably. And it zooms down, and you see the laughing slowly dying out. And you see a beam of light that pretty much symbolizes like that light that guy can walk across to get to freedom. But that light slowly goes out, and the laughter goes out. It's dead silence, and all you see is the rain pouring on the ground. The same image we saw at the beginning of the storyline. And that closes out the Batman the Killing Joke storyline. So a big ending, very ambiguous, but with the explain parts issue out of the way, we're actually getting to me explain the ending, all my theories and opinions, and then we'll get to my review of this entire series. So yeah guys, without further ado, let's get to my theories on this ending. Now guys, this ending is very interesting because like we've seen before that like a lot of people have been coming up with theories, different opinions on this. It's very ambiguous. The ending has not been told at all. Like that's where it ends. Alan Moore, the writer, actually made like a paragraph at the end of the deluxe edition I read. It's like, oh, the ending ends with Batman Joker, and then you think he's gonna explain it, right? Like, oh, finally the answer we've been wanting, but he doesn't. He cuts it off. So we will never know the actual ending, like what Batman do, what happened to Joker, but we can only just theorize. And my theory on this, well, there's different theories. I'll go over different theories. I'll give the one that I go with, and the first theory is that Batman strangled Joker. So what happened at the end, they're laughing and Batman realized, hey, I cannot rehabilitate that guy. He pretty much just told me a joke that goes against what I'm trying to do, and pretty much a beam of light going out is pretty much his hope in pretty much rehabilitating Joker going out too, and Batman just strangles him, kills the Joker, and that's it. Grant Morrison agrees with this theory. He actually goes by it, and a lot of people agree with it too. But the problem with it is strangle him, I don't think Batman would do that. That just doesn't really go with the Batman character. And then two, that Joker shows up in future storylines so he doesn't die here. And this isn't an Elseworld storyline because Batgirl is paralyzed, so it goes in continuity. And strangling somebody, yeah, if they're laughing, they would die out of laughter, so that does make sense. But there's certain things that I just don't feel like Batman would just strangle Joker. And it doesn't really look like that from the image. Like, yeah, you may say, oh, the image didn't show it correctly. Like, yeah, I get that, but that's not the theory I'd go with. And Grant Morrison goes with it. He like believes it. He thinks like that's the correct one, but I don't really go with that. The theory, another theory that people go with is that Batman actually killed Joker with the poison needle. Now, guys, throughout this issue, this whole story, we see a lot of emphasis on like the hands. Now, we see the hands about like pretty much at the beginning with Batman closing the like the door that comes into Arkham, opening the gate with his hands, his talk with the Joker, or the impostor in Arkham Asylum. There's a lot of emphasis when Batman grabs the Joker and he looks at his hands. You see throughout the issue and even at the end, just a lot of focus on the hands, like a lot of images. Like guys, look at the background right here. You see a lot of images of just hands and stuff. You think like, why is Brian Boland showing so much hands? Well, it's probably signaling that, hey, pay attention to the hands. It's be very important at the end. And at the end, you see Batman when Joker tries to hit him with the poison needle. He kicks the needle out of Joker's pretty much hands. Then as Batman goes by him, you see Batman get hit by the wood, and then when he gets up, you see him look at his hand. And you're like, why is he looking at his hand? And even when Joker goes to attack him again with like a knife, he looks at his hands as he deflects it. So why does he look at his hand? Like, that's a very weird image. And some fans say, oh, he had like a mirror in his hand, and he's trying to like dodge Joker without like looking at him. But I'm like, that's kind of dumb. Like, I don't think that's it, because one, that has to be established at all in the storyline. Like, Batman doesn't have like a gadget, like just a mirror in his hand. And two, that just feels like it's stretching. Just to, like, say, hey, that's the point. Like, we have to have a point to these two panels. I actually think, well, I don't think, other people think that this needle, when it got kicked out of Joker's hand, fell into the ground. Batman then grabbed that needle and it punctured his glove. And some people think either that when it punctured his glove, that, he checked it and didn't actually affect him, and he got mad that pretty much he got so close to dying. And pretty much what he does next, he just turns around, he sees like a tone shift, and he just punches Joker, just start taking him down because he's angry. He just had like a meaningless death. And later on, maybe Batman stored that poison needle in his pocket or so, and when he went to touch the Joker, pretty much touched him with that poison needle and killed the Joker. Now, the problems with this theory is, one, Joker again is still alive afterwards, and I know some people are thinking, well, maybe he killed this Joker, but the other two Jokers are still alive because there's 3 Jokers. Jeff Johns established that. But I don't think that's it. The 3 Jokers concept came at the end of Darkseid War like many years later, and I really doubt Alan Moore was thinking, hey, in 20 years Jeff Johns is going to come up with this concept. So I don't think that's true. But another thing is, okay, if he put this poison needle into this guy of the Joker's heart, maybe he didn't kill the Joker, but just paralyzed him, which I actually like to think of it that way a little more, because, well, Joker paralyzed Barbara, so it makes that Batman would paralyze the Joker. It really brings it full circle. And if that's the case, that means Joker's just out temporarily, and later on he came back as the villain of the Batman, like he wasn't dead. And that makes sense because then he's still alive. That would make a lot more sense than Batman killing the Joker with his poison needle. Now, one other thing that's going against this is when Batman kicks the poison needle out of Joker's hands, what happens is, I think that poison needle goes the opposite direction. It doesn't go toward the direction of the Batman. So when he's getting up and he touches it, would the poison needle actually be there? Like, that's the problem with that. Like, we like to think of it that way, but I think that when he kicked it out of Joker's hands, it pretty much went behind Joker. And that's when the next panels we see Joker walking toward Batman, so that poison needle is behind him. So it wouldn't be where Batman would supposedly like pick it up or just get punctured by it. So that this theory, it's cool, like, oh yeah, he grabs it, focus on the hands, he kills Joker with it, or paralyzes him, like, yeah, that's cool, but there's certain things going against it. But then again, it brings up that idea that, wait, but then what is Batman looking at? We don't know. Like, it'd be nice to figure out, like, I like theorizing, but guys, another thing that people are thinking is, when he touched that poison needle, what actually happened is he did get infected, he got mad, punched Joker, and he slowly started to die, and slowly started getting infected. At the end, he started laughing because he started really getting infected, touched Joker, and they both died there that night. But that makes sense because why would Batman laugh at like a joke about like the whole lights and stuff? The Joker's joke, like, it's not really that funny. And it makes sense that Batman's actually dying, and then they both die, but the problem with that is, well, we have Batman comics afterwards. We have Joker showing up in them, so they obviously did both die. Those are 3 theories, and the one about the strangling, pretty much Batman strangling the Joker. The second one is pretty much him getting punctured by the needle, then killing the Joker with it. And the third one is pretty much him actually getting infected and killing the Joker, and him dying himself. So that's pretty interesting, alright? Those are good theories, and the one that I go with, honestly, the one that I think is true, is even though it does have some false stuff that kind of goes against it and may not be true, I'm pretty sure it's probably wrong, but I like to think of it this way, is that Batman actually got the needle, only punctured, he actually didn't get affected by it, and he didn't kill the Joker when he put it into the Joker's side. At the end, when he's laughing with him, he actually just paralyzed him. And Joker was out for like a small time, same as Batgirl, and he actually gave Batman to pretty much cope with all his fallout, deal with it, help Commissioner Gordon, and then later on Joker came back and we pretty much continue the whole Batman-Joker rivalry. And instead of like this whole suicide chorus of Batman and Joker ending in this killing joke, it was actually the start of it. Because when Joker shot that gun, and Batman at the end with the light going out, it was pretty much the end of Batman trying to save the Joker, so now it's just Batman trying to take him down. So that's what I like to think of it that way. Like, it's very interesting. I like to think of that Batman and Joker are now not in like the end of a suicide course or in like the middle of it, and we don't know when it'll end. Like, there is a DC storyline coming up soon, the Joker War, and it's marked as like the final Batman Joker storyline. Maybe that suicide course will end there. I barely doubt it, but still, it shows how fascinating the Batman-Joker rivalry is and how it's some of like the best hero and villain storylines we've ever seen. But guys, before we end this off, before I go to my review, let's talk about that joke, alright? So that joke about how pretty much two men in an asylum, a lunatic asylum, they go up to the rooftops one day, and one man goes across, pretty much leaps across these buildings, making it to freedom. The other man stays behind, he's too afraid of falling. Then the one guy who leaped across is like, hey, I have a flashlight, I'll shine it across, you'll walk right across, you'll be fine. But the other guy's like, are you serious? I'm not crazy. If I walk across, I'm afraid that you'll pretty much stop shining it halfway through and I'll fall to my death. Now, there's two ways that people took this joke. Now, one way is the way that pretty much a lot of people take it, is that Batman and Joker are in the lunatic asylum. One bad day caused him to get to the rooftop, pretty much the edge of insanity, and Batman was the one that leaped across, and he leaped to freedom. He leaped to pretty much pushing back this insanity and coming sane and pretty much striving for justice. Where Joker is the one on the other side who stayed behind. He's too afraid of falling. He's pretty much embracing that insane, stuck in the lunatic asylum. Batman tries to shine this light, and he keeps giving him this light, pretty much giving him all these different like alternatives to help Joker be rehabilitated. But all these things don't work because the Joker doesn't believe in him, he doesn't trust him. He thinks that Batman will pretty much lose hope in him halfway through, and Joker pretty much falls to the abyss. So that's one way to think about it. The other way to think about it is that actually Joker's the one that jumped across, and he jumped across the freedom and pretty much embraced that insanity. Well, Batman's stuck behind and stopped from jumping off that pretty much building. So Batman's on the edge of insanity, but he hasn't embraced it yet. And Joker shining that light across is pretty much trying to give Batman false hope that, hey, you can come over at me and come insane, and you'll be fine. But Batman's afraid if I walk across and start coming insane, you'll pretty much stop shining that light, and then I'll fall even deeper into insanity. I go with the first one, that Batman's the guy that jumped across. That just makes more sense. Like, yeah, I get, okay, Joker jumps across the freedom, comes insane. Like, maybe, but by the Joker telling this joke, it makes sense that Batman's the one that jumped across, and Joker is the one that's insane, and he's not willing to go under, like, this light. This whole, like, the shining light between the buildings. So that's my thoughts on it. I go with, like, I have my theories and opinions on it. I like this. This is one of the most fascinating like topics in all DC Comics, and I can talk about it all day, honestly. But I like you guys to tell me in the comments section below, what is your theory about the joke? What does it mean? And what is your theory about the ending? Do you think Batman actually killed the Joker? Do you think he paralyzed him? You guys tell me. And with this explained part out of the video, let's get to my review of Batman, the Killing Joke. So guys, this whole story is amazing, alright? If you haven't seen it yet, I love this story. It's very well done. It's a dark storyline. Just seeing Batman, like, this review's gonna be quick, because I pretty much told all my thoughts already. Like, with the whole theory part, where I'm like explaining all my theories about like the ending and such, just shows I'm really invested in the storyline. Like, I could go all these theories all day long and talk about it, because how interesting it is. And just the art by Brian Boland really sells it, about with the hands, all the like the different perspectives, with Joker trying to drive Commissioner Gordon insane, and even the final fight between Batman and Joker is good choreography. Because today in some comics, like certain like hero and villains fight, but kind of cuts at certain times, you don't see the full fight. Where here, it's like a very like flowing transition between the different punches. Like, you see Batman get hit by Joker, he drops to the ground, looks back, hits him back. Like, you just see that, and it makes sense. It makes sense with the storyline, and everything just goes at a good pace, and you're so invested. Like, honestly, you can read this storyline, and you're not going to put it down, right? You'll just read it all the way through. Like, I know, like, there's some storylines you'll start reading, you're like, okay, I'll take a break. No, this storyline, you'll read all the way through until the end, and even at the end, you'll be like, that's it? Like, no, I gotta know the ending. It makes you so excited, and I really hope one day we find out what the actual ending is. Like, what if, when Alan Moore someday decides, you know what, I'll tell him the ending. I barely doubt it. Like, we're left to just theorize and give our opinions on it, but it'd just be so awesome to know what actually happened. But yeah, guys, I'm overall gonna give this storyline a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite DC Comics storylines of all time, if not my favorite. Like, there may be a couple others, like maybe one or two other storylines that are up here with the Killing Joke, but this is just like a masterpiece, alright? It's one of the best comic storylines. It's like exceeds anything that Marvel does. Like, honestly, like, I'll read Marvel storylines, but doesn't make me like think about like just like the ethical debate and about like pretty much insane as much as this storyline does. Like Marvel Comics are cool, it's epic and stuff. So this is entertaining, but this storyline, Killing Joke, is entertaining and it makes you think for a while. Like, you know, it's a good storyline when you're like thinking about the storyline for a whole day about theories and opinions. You're like, oh man, I gotta stop thinking about this because I'm gonna go down a whole new rabbit hole. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much the video. If you guys liked it, give a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next storyline that I'm doing. Probably gonna do pretty much either Batman Court of Owls or Batman Nightfall, and it's gonna be exciting, guys. I love telling these stories to you guys, explaining and reviewing it. And yeah, guys, I hope you like this video. Stay safe and peace out.